So, huge thank you to WSBG for sponsoring this portion of the stream. And you can find out more information, and it actually helps me out. This doesn't cost any money at all, but by clicking this link, they track how many clicks that link gets, and it shows that I am relevant to them in the board gaming scene. So if you don't mind just clicking on that link right there, it will take you to the website, and we'll be actually looking over the website now and checking out what the games are for next year's tournament, which is going to be September 24 to 28, 2023. It'll be in Las Vegas. This past year was at the Bally's, and I believe this coming year will be at the Bally's. I like this casino hotel area because our rooms were super close to the gaming area. We didn't have to walk through the casino. I personally get headaches from cigarette smoke, and thank you, Saul. Thank you. Good to see you also. I personally get headaches from cigarette smoke, and so events like Dice Tower West and everything like that, where you have to walk from your room to the gaming area, you have to go through the casino, and my clothes, I'm smelling like smoke. I get headaches. It's unpleasant, and it discourages me from walking back to my room whenever I need something. At the Bally's, it was very nice because the tower that we stayed in was right. You go down and you walk down the hall and it's right there. And the casino was behind you. It was very convenient. Cigarette smoke makes me feel angry. Yeah, it has a lot of, if you're breathing it in all the time, it has a lot of side effects. So I was really happy about that. They had a steakhouse inside the Bally's. They had like a food court downstairs. And it was good transportation. It was pretty close to the strip. Or it was like on the strip. So we could walk outside and immediately be next to food. So there was a lot of good options there. It was a lot better of a location than for Dice Tower West, both times at Westgate and Rio. Those are not as good places as the Bally's. So I really, really enjoyed it this past year. For those of you who don't know what it is, WSBG stands for World Series of Board Gaming. In 2022, it was the very first board game competition that had ever happened. First place won $25,000. They only had, I want to say 350. If Jassar's here, can correct me if I'm wrong. It was a very low number, and so they need help advertising it for next year. I think after experiencing it as a woman and experiencing it in a board game competition world and experiencing it for the first time, I was able to just think about what is competition in the board gaming world and how do I feel about it. After going there, it actually squashed a lot of my fears, because one of my fears is it takes the joy out of board gaming. That is actually what a lot of people said, why a lot of people said they wouldn't be attending this year. Number two was the price. It's so expensive to go to this event. That was another fear, not fear, but just a reality for them. It was too expensive for them to go. So this coming year, if you use my code Bonsai, you'll get $40 off your stay and play package, which is basically covering all 5 days, or I think it's 4 or 5 days. We'll look at it on the website in a second. And we'll go over what exactly the stay and play includes. And you can actually play a bunch of board games the whole time, just like Dice Tower West. Now, the package that they provide also includes lodging. So the stay and play option is the best value for your money because it includes the hotel. Now, because of the hurricane that was happening in Florida and the East Coast area, because of the hurricane, a lot of people's flights were delayed and they missed the first day of competition. It was very, very sad. There's nothing you could do. They didn't know that was going to happen. No one could do anything, but they missed the first day of competition because the hurricane affected all the airlines. So thankfully, I was sponsored by Master Goblin Games to go. Thank you to Master Goblin Games for providing me the opportunity to go and compete. And the Master Goblin was there. A lot of you knew that because the Master Goblin actually made it to the finals for Azul. So we got there a day early and we tacked on a room before. And I think I was able to get the same deal. But in the package with WSBG, it doesn't include the day before or the day after. If that's something you have to figure out on your own. One thing that I do like with the package, however, is that it includes, I forgot what the deal is, and it might be different for 2023. We'll look at it. It includes some free passes if you buy the whole stay and play. And Sass Queen was able to come with me and attend for free. I had already, Master Goblin Games sponsored me. My hotel room was paid for. Okay, we paid for that. I was competing. Sass Queen didn't want to compete, but Sass Queen got to go for free and stay in the hotel room for free and play games all week for free. She only had to pay for food. And we went grocery shopping the day before the competition. We went to Target and we bought groceries, and I brought my hot water kettle and coffee filters and all that. And she bought some bagels and cream cheese, and we never had to pay for breakfast. And then I bought like turkey sandwiches, and she had her own little foods and stuff like yogurt cups and all that. And we saved a ton of money, and we didn't have to go out to eat every single meal. So it was a great opportunity for her to take, a break and play some games and hang out with friends. I know Paula Deming was there, and she's friends with Paula and everyone. So it was a lot of fun for her. And I didn't have to stay. I mean, I would have been fine staying in a hotel room alone, but I had a friend come with me, and that was a lot of fun. We had a lot of laughs, and she even helped me film some content for Instagram stories or Instagram reels and TikToks and all that. So part of that package includes free tickets to bring other people. If you want to compete, though, you have to pay for that on your own. So anyway, yeah, it was a lot of fun. And the coolest thing was Sass Queen was like, so am I coming tomorrow? It was like very last one. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. Like, you're welcome to come if you want to. And thankfully, we're from Southern California. She just drove. She didn't even pay for an airplane ticket. She just drove to Vegas. And then she had, like, it was like the best. It was the sweetest thing. So it was so cool. And every single day, you only play and compete in one board game. So the rest of the day, you can play games in the main hall or practice for your other board games that you're going to be competing in. If you make it if you win the game, you have to go to the semifinals and then the finals. And so that's the reason why it's only one game per day. Because if you make it, it's going to take your entire day. Some of the games didn't end till late at night because they didn't start till the afternoon. And so, like, for example, Dune Imperium, that game might take you an hour and a half. Well, now you have that 3 times. That's, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 hours with a break in between, So anyway, the games that I chose this past year, the first day was Seven Wonders Duel. The first day was Seven Wonders and Splendor, and I chose Splendor. I was out first round. It was insane. We were done with our game in less than 30 minutes, and the rest of the day I had free because that is how quickly we all got slaughtered. So I was out round 1. Day 2 was Acquire. I actually did pretty well in that game, but I still lost. I didn't come in last, but I still lost. So I was out round 1. Day number 3, I thought I was going to win the game. And you know what it was? It was Raw. It was this game right here. That was my game of choice. That was the game I thought I was going to win. And I didn't win. I was out first round. That one hurt. I almost cried. I was so distraught. And there was the people that made Moonshine. Barrel Age Games was there with their booth promoting their new game. And they're the ones that made this one, Moonshine Empire. Barrel Age Games. And they were there at the booth, and they saw me after the game. I was walking with Just Star. And they go, oh, Bonsider. And they give me a big hug. They give me a big hug and they're like, it is so good to see you. How are you doing? And I go, hey, it's so good to see you. I just lost Raw and like, I'm really, really, really sad. That was going to be my game to help me win $25,000. And like, I lost and I'm really bummed about it. And they go, hey, it's okay. It's okay. Here, have one of our hats. And they give me one of their baseball hats promoting their new Kickstarter game for free. And they're like, here. And they only had a few. They're like, here, take this. You can have this. It's going to be okay. Have fun. That's why you're here. Have fun. You got this. And they encouraged me. And they didn't have to do that. Oh my goodness. That lifted my spirits up. I was like, you know what? They're right. It's okay. It's okay. It's all right. I realized on day 3 of the competition that this competition was hard. Everyone thinks that they are going to win. That is the first thing I learned in competition. If you don't think you're going to win, then, well, you're kind of wasting your money. You need to try and win. That's why you're there. You have a chance of winning thousands of dollars. Try your best. So that's the first thing I learned was everyone thinks they're going to win. And when everyone thinks they're going to win, then it is really difficult for anyone to win. That was the second thing I learned. Just real quickly, May Chan says, OMG, I just got mail from the medical place when I got sick in September. I think I got 100% financial aid. May Chan, thank you for telling us. I can't believe that. That is something you needed. That is something you needed to know. If you got 100% financial aid, I am so happy for you. Out of everyone here in this chat, I think that you should not incur any more expenses. So I am so happy for you. That is very good news. Thank you for sharing that. Hearts to May-chan. Hearts to May-chan. That is amazing. Thank you for sharing that. So that was after I needed that. I need to double check, but pretty sure. Okay. Let us know. That is very exciting news. That was very exciting news. So after losing to Raw, it was Friday night, and I actually saw this picture today. It was the Master Goblin making it to the finals in Azul on the same day. It was Friday evening. We were waiting for him to win so we could go to dinner. He made it to the finals. Now, when everyone is trying to win, and then you realize how hard it is to win, when you make it to the semifinals, that's a big deal. When you win the semifinals and you go to the finals, that is a huge deal. It is very difficult to get to the finals of any of those games. And he made it. It was being broadcasted live on YouTube through the World Series of Board Gaming YouTube channel. And they had commentators and everything. Blue Peg, Pink Peg was the commentators. And it was the most stressful thing of the whole week. Everyone was watching him. Everyone was watching him. It was so stressful. I was like screaming in the main hall. He tied for first place and lost the tiebreaker due to his seating position at the table. That was the silliest house rule I have ever heard. He lost due to being in seat 3 and not seat 4. He lost. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Straight up. Yeah, everyone was very upset. So, I had just lost Raw. I was fine. I was fine by then. I'd rather a coin flip. I know, right? 50-50 at that point. Yeah. Because you don't pick what seat you sit in. You get randomly. It was not good. That was not good. They need to change that. And they probably will. Because a lot of people were upset about that. So anyway, he was obviously way more distraught than I was for losing Brawl in the first round earlier that day. Like, I was fine by then. Was the tiebreaker known ahead of time? Yes, it was known ahead of time, but there was no way to... So that was the second tiebreaker, because the first tiebreaker, they tied for the tiebreaker. The first tiebreaker was the amount of tiles or something, like amount of things that you completed, and they tied for that. So the second tiebreaker was your seat position. And yes, every single game has a PDF that everyone is supposed to read beforehand. I printed every single PDF out and kept them in a file, but you could also pull it up on your phone. It tells you how the rules are going to be implemented, if they're any different than the actual board game. For example, no expansions. Player one will need to say what they're doing. We're going to pass a card around to prove that you did your turn. Once you pass the card, there is no take backs. You're done with your turn. There's other things, such as once you release your hand from the token, you can no longer move that piece. You know, like almost like chess, right? So there's stuff like that you learn on the PDF, and some of that is the end game scoring and tiebreakers. Also, you're supposed to know the rules to every single game before you played it. Otherwise, what are you doing there? This is a serious competition with as you can see on the screen, $40,000. You also get a diamond bracelet, a big ring. This competition is related to the World Series of Poker. So, you know, so that we were very upset when we realized that happened to the Master Goblin. So obviously he's in distress, and we go out to dinner Friday night, and I'm like, you know what? This was a ton of fun. No, I'm gonna have fun tomorrow. Like, no worries, whatever. So Saturday comes along, and I'm gonna show you what my game was. Okay. A lot of you know I don't like territory games. And I don't like confrontational games. Well, this is Blood Rage, and it's both of those things. And I had never played the physical version ever in my entire life. No, I played round one of the physical board game a long time ago in the dark outside in like our back patio with no electricity. And so I had no idea what I was doing. And I only played round one, and then I was freezing cold and so lost that I was like, whatever, I'm not doing this anymore. And so like, so anyway, I put Blood Rage down on Saturday because I was like, I don't really want to play the other one.
Hallelujah! The Lord, Lord is. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Gator Dave, thank you so much for that resub. 16 months in a row. Thank you so much. Saying Blood Rage, Gator Dave. Woo! Good to see you. Also, Liesel, good to see you. Oh, and Foglight says, I've been in this game since then because of you. Well, thanks for letting me know. Actually, I did know that because I saw you posting about it. And that is, you know, I'm scared to play it again because of how much I played it before. I need to play it again, though. Same for the partner. Oh, it's awesome, Lily. That is so great. So, yeah, I thought, you know what? I'll put it down. Here's what I did to practice. I go, look, I'm not buying this game. It's really expensive. I mean, obviously, I have it now. But before WSBG, I was like, you know, this game is really expensive to buy. I'm just going to buy it on... I had it on Steam because it's Meeple's #1 favorite game. And so Meeple did a training session with me. I played it with Silver Metal Tavern on his stream with Just Czar. And then I played it against AI. So I only played it with real people, I think, twice to train for WSBG. And then all the other times, I just played against AI, played against AI, played against AI, played against AI on my Steam Deck in bed. Like, that's all I did. I was just like, just so that when I play it on Saturday, it's like, whatever. So Saturday comes, and we're all standing there, and there's some people that didn't show up, and they're not competing anymore. And so they didn't have enough people to make the right amount of tables to form the semifinals and finals. And that is very common in also like poker tournaments. It's basically called like a buyout. So you don't have to do the first round. You go straight to semifinals, or you go to round 2. It's very common to make sure that the finals will have the correct amount of players. So I was one of the people, along with a lot of people, that were bought out for round 2. I think it's called bought out. So then I get to the semifinals, and it's around noon. Okay, yeah, I think it was around noon or 12:30, and the game gets put and set up, and this is my very first time ever playing the physical board game, and I'm playing in 4-player. There's 3 other guys there, and 2 of them had just won the first round, so they already warmed up. They already knew how to play. So they made it to the semifinals, and me and this other person, it was our first time, but the other guy had played a lot, and I'd never played the physical board game. So we're sitting there. I kid you not. I whooped them. Like my score was around the entire scoreboard, and then almost a second time around the scoreboard. It was a very high score. Very, very high score. And before round 3, there's only 3 rounds this game. The guy that had won the first round said, I don't even know why we're still playing. She's going to take it away. Like he spoke those words out loud, and I think it planted the seed of discouragement to everyone else. And I was like, well, good. Keep on talking like that, because I'm going to make it to the finals. And something happened that I will always remember. I will always remember this. And I've said this before on my stream. It was a bunch of people that lost, and our game was one of 2 tables still going in the semifinals. And so everyone else had already finished. They were standing there, or they could leave, but they were watching our game. And they were surprised. And I believe there was only 3 women. There was only 3 women for Blood Rage, I'm pretty sure. Maybe 4. I don't remember, but I know there was at least 3 women. And the group of guys standing a few feet away from my table, I heard them say this. They go, she's either really good at this game or really lucky. I was thinking to myself, excuse me? Like, did I just hear you correctly? Like, this score is clearly not luck. I'm playing again in a $25,000 competition. This is not luck. I'm just good at this game. Like, I was like, huh. Okay, I see where I'm at. I see this. Yeah, why not both? Of course, there's always luck there's always some degree of luck, right? And I'll never forget that. I was like, okay, I see where, like, I was like, you're standing over there because you guys are losers. Like, go away. I won the game, went to the finals, and there was no break in between. I had Paula Deming's trail mix from her bag. She gave me some trail mix, and that was my dinner. It was now around, well, I want to say I was in there at 12, but I could have started a little bit later due to setup and everything. And I was in that hall for, I think, 8 hours, freezing cold. I was so glad I had a jacket. Daryl, good to see you. CW Reese, good to see you. And the finals were broadcasted on YouTube, and Paula Deming was the narrator or the commentator, and it was very, very exciting. There was cameras all around our table, and it was late. I was hungry. I was nervous, but you know what? I lost, but I was in the lead 2 out of the 3 rounds. I was in the lead. The reason why I didn't win is because on the last draft on round 3, the cards were robbed from me because they were all playing defense, and then one of the other people won. And that's okay. That's okay, because I knew that I played well. And I can't believe I made it to the finals for Blood Rage. I just sometimes I don't know how I like whatever. But I did it. That told me that I can do anything. On Sunday was the semifinals and finals, and it was very nerve-wracking for everyone, I'm sure. They only had one woman make it to the semifinals for Carcassonne, and she did really well, but she didn't win that match. So the last game for everyone to play was Dune Imperium, and guess what? The person who beat me at Blood Rage won the entire tournament. He won $25,000. So at least I know that the person who beat me at Blood Rage was the person who actually won the whole tournament. It makes me feel also a little bit better. Another thing I learned from WSBG, well, the first thing for those of you just coming in was everyone is there to win. And when everyone is there to win, it's really hard to win. The third thing I learned was everyone is really nice. I don't know. I think this is different than poker in you know, character and attitude and all that. Everyone was helping each other out. Saturday night, we all sat down and we practiced with the finalists who we had just lost to. We practiced the board games with them of what they were going to be playing the next morning, and we were out forever. So everyone was helping each other out the whole week. I made a lot of friends. I went out to dinner with a lot of people, just hanging out with them and talking with them. Fellow people that I was competing against. Everyone was so nice to each other. So the third thing I realized was the people in the competition were people like you and me. We're just here having a good time. We want to win, but we're having a good time at it. And I really appreciated that. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting backstabbing, negativity, temper tantrums. I was worried about cheating. A lot of people were worried about cheating. At the end of the tournament, they reported, because they had a lot of GMs called Game Masters. They had a lot of GMs all over. Each game had a whole bunch of GMs just walking, you know, constantly making sure rules were kept, everything. At the finals for Blood Rage, there was a guy sitting at the end of the table watching every single one of our move. Every single time. It was very, very serious. And at the end of the tournament, they announced that there were 0 reports of cheating throughout the entire 4 to 5 day competition, which is great. So it was a positive experience overall. I made a lot of friends that I still talk to today. It helped me build confidence in myself, because I never, ever thought I'd be good at Blood Rage. Ever in my entire life that I've known this game, I said, this game isn't for me. There's no way that I'll ever be good at it. And I made it to the finals. And I beat all those guys, too, that were talking about me. And it also, like, made me realize that I could be in the competition scene. The last thing that I wanted to say about the overall thing is there was a lot of people in the stay and play area where you could just play board games. You didn't have to compete. It was just like a normal board game convention. They had the same library from Dice Tower West, so it was just all along the wall. People brought a whole bunch of games, and it felt just like a regular board game convention. The competition was in a different room right next to it. It was adjacent to it, but you had to go through closed doors. And then it was like another big hall. So, and they had some booths there, but not very many. They had maybe like 10 booths, maybe 10 booths. I don't know. And what I realized was there were some people who said, you know what, competition isn't for me. I'm not going to come next year for the competition part, but I'm having so much fun playing at this event that I might just come and pay to play, you know, or I might just pay to come here for the event, but not actually compete, because you can still watch all the events. There might be a viewing room next year and everything, and everyone's just hanging out. It's a good time. So what I learned was there were a lot of women who came to the event, but there were less women who were in the competition. And my appeal to the women out there, if you are listening, like, there needs to be women in board game competition. Like, there's no way that like we can do it. We can do it. I had a blast. It didn't take away my joy of board gaming. It actually built my confidence, because I now know that I can do anything. Me playing Blood Rage, I can do anything. I lost to Raw, which is a tile laying game, okay? And I won at Blood Rage. I don't, it's just, you can do anything. My appeal is I want more women in the board gaming competition scene. So that's my one thing. I get really passionate about it because I'm like, I saw with my own eyes. I was like, there needs to be more women here. One other cool thing is we got to play the Terraforming Mars dice game because the prototype was there. So I got to play that in the gaming hall. And that was like the only game I played that wasn't part of the competition. Except that guy that said she won't by luck. Can you say you like Blood Rage now? It's still not my type of board game. It's not my type of board game. But you can say that I respect the game and I will play it anytime. Yeah. I think Blood Rage and I respect each other. We have like a good respect for each other. Hey, Blood Rage, you don't anger me, I won't be angry at you. Pete McPherson! I'm just talking to a board game, you know. I was just looking at the list for next year. It's interesting. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and look at that together. Again, the link right there. The link right there, if you click on it, it's not going to like cost you anything. It's just a link, okay? It's just a link with my Bonzinator name attached to it. They're going to see how many people click that. That's going to help me out as a streamer. Okay. Pete, how's it going? Good to see you. I'm sure you're very busy right now. Okay. So, wait a minute. Okay. Here we go. So, overall, it's $40,000. This is not what first place gets. First place actually gets $25,000. But they're just saying what happens overall. Oh, I forgot to say also, on Sunday, they did like a giveaway afterwards to like award the checks and everything like that. And when you walk through the door, they give you this raffle ticket. And they were giving away 2 game theory tables, and I won one of them. So now I'm going to be getting a game theory table. And I think it's like worth over $2,000. I was like, okay, so I won a board game table. That was pretty fun. I don't have it yet. They haven't shipped it or anything, but yeah, that's gonna be coming. I don't know where I'm gonna put it. I have no room. I live in a Southern California house. Do you really think I have an extra room? It's gonna go on top of the guest bed. Going great, not too busy, but having lots of fun this week. What? You're having lots of fun this week? Well, that's great to hear. That's awesome. Doesn't include board games or anything. Tink, good to see you. The 2019 Nevada State... Tink. OMG. Is that Bonds? The 2019 Nevada State Skull King champion and the 2022 WSBG Blood Rage finalist? Okay, Tink. All right, that was a good one. I play board games every night this week, which is pretty rare for me these days. What? I am jealous. That sounds like so much fun. What has been your favorite board game that you played this week? Okay, so. All right, so there's 16 ring winners and only 1 WSB champion. The 16 ring winners is the semifinalists on Sunday. I'm jealous too. How amazing. They have a countdown here. 317 days left. 2 hours, 25 minutes, and 51 seconds. So first place will get $25,000. The person who won, who beat me at Blood Rage, is a YouTuber living in Los Angeles with his wife, and they have a bunch of dogs and cats. And the money will be going towards his YouTube channel. He is a board game content creator who does all of his content in Chinese. So he lives in LA and does all of his content in Chinese. He's very cool. I was talking to his whole group. They're very cool people. I played kites with my family and loved it. Such a frantic co-op game. That's got to be my favorite from this week. So, did you play with because you can play without the special cards or with the special cards. Whenever I've played it without. I'm a bit PO'd, CW Reese says. My apartment management had a plumber replace my water heater this afternoon. It's not heating the water at all. Just put in a maintenance request, just venting. Oh no, CW Reese. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Oh no. You know what I would do right now? I would warm up some water in a big pot and just have it on your stove and maybe put some in a thermos so you can at least wash your face with some warm water. I'm so sorry. I like kites as well. Only played once during ramen. Ooh, fun. Oh wait, I was there. I was like, that sounds awfully familiar to when I played kites. Man, that sounded exactly like my experience too, Fog. Like, we played 3 special cards the first round, then 6 the next. They had a good dose of chaos. Oh, okay. I'm too scared to do that. I'm gonna have to do that. All right, so second place got $10,000. Third place got $5,000. And fourth place got $1,000. How it works. There's going to be 16 qualifying ring events that are held over 4 days, but you choose 1 game per day. Then the winners of each of those games will compete Sunday morning in 1 game. There's going to be 4 semifinal games. They are randomly drawn the night before, so no one knows. And they're all done. It's all drawn in front of everyone. So it's really fun to be a part of it, even though you're not competing, because you get to see what the games are, and everything is put online, and everything is pretty big thing. So 4 finalists compete for the WSBG bracelet, which is $25,000 plus $25,000. So as you can see here, what is this? Ring game 13. I'm not sure what that one is, but okay. This is where we stay. Take advantage of our special room rate of $135 per night. Guys, $135 per night at the Bally's in Las Vegas is a good deal. That is cheap. I just stayed in San Jose this past weekend at a Days Inn, which smelled truly like cigarette smoke. In the bathroom, the cigarette smoke was so strong, it was coming through the vents. We had to close our bathroom door. It felt like I was getting hotboxed every time I went in there. It's Days Inn in San Jose. I'm never going back there. And I paid $240. Okay? So this is nice. This is nice. Or like that one time I was at a camp as a teen where the only option for a shower was a cold shower. No, not a cold shower. Not. It's cold right now. Okay. Located in center of the strip? It is. I was just in Vegas this past weekend as well. Yeah, I don't know why. And even Sunday, that was what the bride booked a bunch of rooms at the Days Inn, and that's what I paid for. And get this, she prepaid for everyone, so we had to Venmo her, right? So I Venmo'd her all the money. Then I get there, she's not there. She's in Sacramento. She's still driving the night before her wedding. So I have to pay the hotel in order to get into the room. So I paid her a bunch of money. And then weeks later, I paid the hotel hundreds of dollars. So I paid twice to sleep in a Days Inn. Okay, I should have done it. I honestly, I was just doing what the bride was telling me to do. So then the bride was like, hey, I'll have to pay you back. Well, now she's on her honeymoon. And let me tell you, I'm not buying them a wedding present until I get my money back. If I didn't ever get paid back, just keep that as your wedding present. That's a very nice wedding present, because I was going to get you something cheaper than that. Hey, Reality, how's it going? Oh my goodness, you're up a little. Wait, it's only 6:30. Reality, good to see you. Okay, so hey, use promo code EARLYBIRD before December 1 to get $40 off this ticket. How about you use code Bonsai and you get the same amount? And when you use code Bonsai, they know that I am worthy to keep on advertising for them. So don't use early bird, use Bonsai. You get the same discount. And my Bonsai one will not expire after December 1. It will work after December 1. Okay, so ticket type, compete in optional guest passes. So the stay and play up to 3 at 50% off, $50 each. That's new. They used to be free. That's new. But when I went there for four or 5 days, paying $50 for 4 or 5 days is pretty good. Let's see. So stay and play is what you get the $40 off. Oh, I guess if you want to use the $40 off for this one, you can, but this one is where my code works. So for $1,000, you can have 3 people at $50 each. You get to compete in all 4 games, and you get to do everything else. It includes lodging at $110 a night, and it includes the resort fee and tax. Is there an option for just a guest pass if you don't want to do the ring events? Yes, there is. You can even walk up to the door and pay. You don't have to prepay to do that. However, it will probably be more expensive. I know a bunch of people. This is what I didn't do. Okay, I don't know why I didn't do this, but also I was too stressed out about the competition. Another lady who lives in Vegas was competing, and she had the full pass. So she had a bunch of free passes along with her pass, just like I did. I had Sass Queen come for free. I didn't have Sass Queen pay me anything. I was like, no, I just want you to come. Just come and hang out and play games. What this lady did is she sold her free passes for $40 a pop. $40 or $50 a pop. So that they could come to this convention. She sold her free passes for cash. And I'm like, she made like over $100 on these. And I was like, well, I think she made like $200. I'm like, what in tarnations? She's selling off her free passes. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what a hustler. Like, what the heck? I didn't do that. So anyway, it looks like they're charging probably so. Yeah, she was really smart. She's like, oh yeah, I sold all mine. I was like, what? So anyway, this price includes all 4 ring events, everything else, discounted lodging, which includes the resort fee and tax. Okay. There are no friends of business. Exactly. And then 3 50% off guest passes. If you just want to go, like let's say I give Tink a friend pass at $50. But Tink wants to stay in her own room. Tink can still get a WSBG price at $135 per night plus the resort fee and tax. So it's not as cheap as this, but you're still not paying the normal $200 per night. And it is a great location. It really is. Hey, look, things get dicey. Game 3 tables right there. So here's some of the sponsors. PrezCon. I met the people that run PrezCon. They're awesome. Drive-Thru Games, I don't know them. Congress of Gamers, I don't know them. Cape Fear. Oh, also, by the way. Oh, look, Lore of the Board. Okay. So let's say you're doing one of these events and you win. I forgot if it's first place or any of these places. They will donate. They will give a board game store, a local board game store of your choice, a bunch of money. That's like part of their contribution to the board gaming industry. So let's say Reality wins and wants to donate or wants to have WSBG help out their local board game store, then they would give money to their local board game store. Drive-Thru Games is Joel Eddy, longtime YouTube reviewer. Oh, cool. Awesome. Thanks, Hornus. Cadrol says, has to be the first place we're going to give $5,000 to a store. Oh, $5,000 though? That's a lot. I didn't realize it was 5,000. Thank you, Kedril. Yes, it was a special case in 2022, which was this past few months ago. The money, the person who won didn't have a board game store. They didn't select it. And there was a board game store that got destroyed during the hurricane in Florida during WSBG. And WSBG donated $5,000 to that store. What's this? This one, another YouTube channel. Lore of the Board, Man vs. Meeple, Roll for Crit, Gaming Rules, The Geek All-Stars, Quackalope, Blue Peg, Pink Peg, Brothers Murph, Things Get Dicey, and then we're starting over again. There you go. So all those people should be going there. All right. Let's look at the ring events. Event schedules. Here we go. Okay. So on September 24, it's going to be Terraforming. Now, if you're in chat, tell me which game you would play for Sunday. If you could play any of these. Terraforming Mars, Gaia Project, Azul, or Raw. Mine would be Raw. Reality would choose Azul. Timeout would choose Gaia Project. Pete says Azul. Fogley says maybe Terraforming Mars. Igneo says Terraforming Mars. Liz says Gaia Project, but I have to learn it first. Okay. Crippling Student Debt says some of these have an online equivalent. Do you know how close the online games are to the tabletop version? Very, very, very close. Yes. Like I said, I played Terraforming Mars only on digital. Well, I didn't say that, but I did only play Terraforming Mars on digital. Gaia Project is so expensive for digital platform, like on Steam. It's so expensive. I'm not going to pay for that digital one. I don't know. I forgot how much it was, but it was too expensive. So I actually have the physical board game, so I can't talk for that one. Azul, at least on Steam app, there is no Azul game, but I think it might be on Board Game Arena. Raw, there is no digital implementation of Raw that is worth it. So you're going to have to play the physical one. There used to be an app for Android, but not anymore. What games are you going to slam? Duncan, Pillar Angel says. Let's see. I would... For this one, I would do Raw for sure. Beyond Dead says Terraform Mars or Azul since I played them. Okay. I would choose Terraform Mars because I know that I could probably buy it on Steam and learn it. Yes. And you can always click Learn More and it'll tell you, is it going to be with any expansions? So it tells you they're going to have 256 seats. Once something sells out, it sells out. There's 4 rounds. It will be, and then you'll see, play Terraform Mars base game and Prelude expansion. Starting player will be determined randomly. And then it tells you how they're going to do the game. 5 project cards will be dealt out, drafted left, then drafted right, and then it talks about it more and more. In case of a tie, the tying player with the most money will advance. If still tied, the tied player with the lowest seat number, seat 5 in a 5-player game will advance. Any further modifications to rules and procedures will be finalized and posted by August 1, 2023. So that just tells you more about it. Yes, yes. It should be identical. Azul's on BGA. Okay, good, good, good. Thank you, Liesel, for the Gaia Project Steam link. Appreciate that. The Azul final came down to the second tiebreaker in 22. We were just talking about that. That was the Master Goblin, who is my boss. Yes, we still mourn the loss of that. Here we go. Oh, shoot. I didn't realize it was already 6:49. I better get started on the Castles of Burgundy. So after this review, we'll start playing the game. It says, now for Monday, which one would you choose? This is a huge difference. Splendor versus Arc Nova. Splendor, I played that game this past year. Played it in less than 30 minutes. Arc Nova definitely isn't a 30-minute game. Which one would you play? Reality says Castles of Burgundy. Liz says Ticket to Ride or Ark Nova. Okay. OMG, it's only 6:49 for you. The world is weird. Yes, I'm so sorry. Yes, I didn't realize time got away from me. I need to learn Ark Nova. It is a fun game. It is interesting to me. I need to play it again. You would choose Castle of Burgundy? I would also choose Castle of Burgundy. The game I played most on BGA, still not that many games. Hey, if you can play it, you're practicing it. Gaia Project is so good, but wow, is it a lot? Yeah, when I played it, my mind was turning to mush. This choice would be harder, maybe Ark, maybe Splendor. It just depends. Splendor, you can really win, or you can really not win. Splendor is one of the few games I feel like I can win consistently, though I hear competitive play is really tough. They're very good. They are very good. I was shocked at how quickly our game went. I was like, oh, so this is how it goes. Okay. It's like when you go gambling and you put in $20 on the roulette table and then like it's gone within 2 seconds. So you get up and walk away. That's kind of how I felt. All games I played all these too. Ticket to Ride. I played Ticket to Ride a lot on my phone, but the AI is not very good. Hey, but if you can memorize the tracks and put out the cards and just understand how the game works over and over and over again, you'd be fine. I played Blood Rage against AIs. I don't like Splendor. I know that's not a popular opinion. Oh, Meeple is number one, not a fan of Splendor. I'm always playing Castle of Burgundy on BGA between starting a new game after one ends for the past few months. That's awesome, Reality. Ganda says, we all know Conrad agrees with you. I would have to find some ruthless people to play Ticket to Ride against. There were some ruthless people. I met someone that made it to the semifinals, I think. I was talking with him. Okay, Tuesday. Splendor is a popular game amongst competitive Magic the Gathering players. Oh, is it? I didn't know that. That's cool. Maybe like a good filler. Great Western Trail 2nd edition. Okay. Cascadia. This is a new one this year. Cascadia. Dune Imperium and Seven Wonders 2nd edition. Cascadia is the new one for this year. Out of these games, which one would you play? Timeout says Great Western Trail, Reality, Foglight, and Crippling all say Seven Wonders. Crippling says Seven Wonders' favorite game. Okay. Liz says Seven Wonders, Dune Imperium, or Cascadia. Well, Liz, that's like 3 out of the 4. Pete says Cascadia. Cradle says Seven Wonders. I've never played Cascadia. Probably Cascadia, just out of what interests me, not that I'm good at it, okay? Dune Imperium was the final game this past year. In the final. I've only played Dune and Seven Wonders, okay. This is a tough choice. Maybe Gross and Trail or Seven Wonders. I want to learn Cascadia. Same. I'd figure out which is the least popular and try to be good at it. That's one of the reasons why I chose Blood Rage. I actually, so when you click on a game, let's take Seven Wonders. Let's look at each one real quick because it shows you. This was my strategy, okay? Capacity, 256 seats for Seven Wonders. Then I went to, let's go to Dune Imperium. 256. Okay. Cascadia. Nothing. They don't know how many people are going to be in that. They don't know how many people they want to have in that yet. Garrison Trail. Seven Wonders. A lot of people played. 256. So everything. Wait a minute. What the heck? Gaia Project. Let's do Gaia Project. How many seats? Are they really having 256 across the board? They did not have that this past year.
Not ideal.
Hey.
Why me?
Hey, good to see you.
Why me?
Watt, thank you so much for the raid. How's it going? It looks like 256 is across the board. Good to see you. What are you streaming today? So basically, I looked at the seat capacity for each board game. Then I bought my WSBG ticket, which was off of Eventbrite. Then I went into Eventbrite And I could see before they removed it how many people had purchased each game for that day. So I saw that a lot of people had done Seven Wonders and done Splendor and everything like that. And I compared each game. Well, in Eventbrite, I could change a game if I wanted to. I saw that Blood Rage seats were way less than I think Settlers Catan or no, Settlers Catan was hardly anyone. It was some other game on Saturday, and I was like, okay, there's hardly anyone in Blood Rage. My odds for winning will be higher because of it. I also chose, this was another tactic. You have to bring your own copy of the game. Raw, out of print. Raw was out. Acquire, which version? Like hard to get, not necessarily the version that they wanted to play wasn't in print. It was from, I think, 2008. They didn't want you to bring the 2016 version. So I chose games that were out of print and hardly anyone wanted to play, so my odds would be higher. Like I was doing all the research I could. That's why stats are important. Dead by Daylight. Oh, awesome. Oh, well, thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate it. 256 sounds like a placeholder value. It must be. It must be different in when we get closer to it. Acquire is so fun, P. There's actually a lot of strategy to it. Well, thank you so much for raid. I do appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. And I hope you're having a good evening. Y-Tai, is it Y-Tai? Thank you so much for that follow. Look at you being all crafty. Notable Joel, good to see you also. Hey, Dead by Daylight says, I really like Acquire, though I haven't played in over a decade. Yeah, that game has been out since the 50s. The feeling when you're holding the tile that will blow up the whole game. So good. So good. The power's in your hand. Okay, Wednesday, Wingspan. Brass, Birmingham. Patchwork. Acquire. Which one? So as you can see, this is not the 2016 version. 256 is a power 2, so nice limit to the size of the tournament brackets. Okay, thank you. Patrick or Wingspan, okay. Let me tell you, the one time they almost had a problem with like temper tantrum was Wingspan. Believe it or not. Patchwork, okay. I do Wingspan. I'm decent at it. Wingspan I heard was the most brutal for some reason. I don't know why. It was like cutthroat. That's what I heard. So no idea how Patchwork will work if it is drawn for a final table. Well, 2 people, right? Did someone experience bird rage? Instead of blood rage, it was bird rage. Brass, okay. Reality says, I guess Patchwork. You're kind of like, I guess Patchwork. Probably Wingspan. I do want to learn Brass Birmingham just to try it. So the Steam app version of Brass Birmingham actually isn't that good. I do not like it at all. The board is there for you to see the board, but the tutorial is horrible. Everything is horrible on the Brass Birmingham app. I don't recommend buying that on Steam. Either find it on, I don't know if they have on Board Game Arena or what. Try to play the physical board game over the digital one for Brass Birmingham. For Wingspan, digital version. You can play so many more games if you have the digital app. It is so good. The music is so good. The implementation is good. You can play with other people online. You can play with AI. You can play with Automa. Get the digital Wingspan on Steam. It is worth it. We play it all the time. Sometimes husbands and I will pass the Steam Deck back and forth to each other, even though we have the physical board game, because we don't have to set it up or clean up. It's so much easier and it's really nice. So the BGA version of Wingspan rocks too. Okay, there you go. So if you can practice Wingspan on the digital version easy. Brass Birmingham, no. Patchwork on Steam, totally fine. You can totally do it. It's a great one. Acquire, there is no digital version. You're gonna have to, good luck on that. That's why I chose it. So for this one, I'd probably do Patchwork, even though I'd probably be really good at Acquire since that was my game this past year too. I already know how it works. So I'd be comfortable playing Acquire again. The most expensive would dissuade people and narrow the field. Yes, that's another reason why Just Czar chose a Dominant Species Marine. It's hard to get, out of print, really expensive game. And there was only like 30 people that signed up. I've seen plenty of I've seen plenty of Sierra and TMG playing brass. Yep, and the Master Goblin's very good at brass. But yes, by the app. Wingspan has a solo play mode, right? It does. Well, I always play against the Automa. I think it's called Automa. I don't know. I've never played Wingspan solo on the board game, physical board game. I've only played it against an Automa on the app. I used to play Choir on the website in the early 2000s, but forget what it was now. I looked, I couldn't find a digital Choir. The use AI and Patchwork game is an absolute menace. It's unreal. Oh, Pete, you do Uwe? I do Ute because I cannot beat Ute for the life of me. Uwe is on a different level. Yeah, if you think Patchwork is easy, get the app and play against Ute and Uwe. Automa on the physical game of Wingspan is there too. It's the same Automa. Oh, thank you, Credol and Hornus. Uwe cheats in his own games. Daryl has seen me like cry because of Ute in Patchwork Digital. So, one thing I didn't talk about, that's it for the Wednesday. Thursday is the semifinals and finals. You're done. You can leave on Friday and be home for the weekend, or you can spend all weekend there in Vegas and get to do some fun things. Why they did it from a Sunday to Thursday instead of I think I was there from the Wednesday evening to Monday morning. So it was over the weekend. Why they did it from a Sunday to Thursday, I have no idea. That a lot of people don't have PTO like that. They don't. I don't know why it's like that. My guess is the hotel rates. Liesel, you're right. They got a cheaper hotel rate that way. You're so right. And I think also there was people that traveled from, this is a worldwide tournament. The people who won, even though he lives in LA, he is Chinese. His family's in China. So the other person who won, I think second or third place, Italian. The other person who won, Canadian. And the other person who won was from the US. So you had China, Italy, Canada, and US in the final. So it was really cool to see, cultural diversity there. My one thing is I wanted to see more women in competition. On November 6th, I was driving home from playing board games. Saw a guy riding a unicycle on the side of the road. Then at the next intersection, the unicycle went into crosswalk and a car going around the corner stopped just in time. Oh, Mayor of Canada. That would have been horrible to see an accident. So I'm so glad that person is safe. Wow. I hope you're doing well too. Cheaper room rates and the possibility of a Raiders home game. Oh, you're right, Hornus. Man, Hornus with the big brain there. The big brain, what? Like Hornus? Knowing the football schedule? Like, you got a point there. So, okay. There's also a side event schedule. And this is, let's see, what is this? They're called Outer Ring events. No, these were from 2022. Oh no! I hope your internet is fixed. Having internet problems is the worst. It can like mess up your work, mess up your stream, everything. So this past year, if you were to win any of these games on the Outer Ring tournament, so let's say you don't want to compete, but you want to compete in the Outer Ring tournament. You don't need to pay to play these. These are free. You just go sign up. And if there's room, there's room. If you win, they're like mini tournaments. If you win, I think you get $400 credit for the next year's ticket. So it's like not a lot, but hey, it's something. And if you didn't want to pay to compete that year, you could still do your own little mini tournament. Yeah, they're mini tourneys. So you could only choose one of these just because of time. But this past year they had Scythe, Castles of Burgundy, Small World, Julius Caesar, Lost Ruins of Arnak, and Fantasy Realms. On Friday, they had Age of Steam, Concordia, Root, Star Wars Rebellion, and Formula D, and Lost Cities. Saturday, they had Hollow Tau, Architects of the West Kingdom, Stone Age, Twilight Struggle, and Alhambra, and Cascadia. Preview the best winner, win $25,000. So that is WSBG. If any of you are interested in checking it out for yourselves, !WSBG in chat will bring up a link. That link is basically this one, but with the Bonzinator word attached to the URL. And they are keeping track of how many clicks that link gets. That if you click on it, it helps me as a streamer because they see that people are actually clicking on that link. So I would appreciate that. Thank you for clicking on that link. It brings you to this exact website.